Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening. Hey Garima. We'll wait for 5 more minutes and then we'll kickstart. Good morning, good evening. Hi everyone. So, before we really jump in and discuss in terms of, what I have in store today, why don't you, Garima, just tell me where you are and, how much you've done from the content standpoint and where exactly have been your struggle. This call primarily has to be more of a discussion that I really wanted in terms of really understanding as to where things are going wrong, or what can I do more, or what all areas you're seeking help and so on and so forth. And if there's anything that you have really struggled with, if you have really appeared in the last exam, then what was that and how can I really help you in terms of coming up with the flying colors now. So over to you, Garima, in terms of understanding more from you as to where you are and what exactly have done and so on and so
Hello.
forth.
Hello, Pankaj.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Pankaj. Loveleen here. Good evening.
Hi, Loveleen.
Actually, I'm so sorry, Pankaj. I'm traveling to a client place because of work. So, is there any possibility so that we can get the recordings of what is being discussed today?
Yes, the recording of this session would be available.
Yeah, that would be much better. Thank you. Thank you.
It will be available, Loveleen. But honestly,
Thank you.
Loveleen, this, I wanted this to be a heart-to-heart chat kind of a thing in terms of understanding more from you as to what all areas you think uh, is working well or not working well or has not worked well when you gave your exam, if you gave your exam. So it was more to understand that and, of course, tell you where exactly you may need to improve on and so on and so forth. So that was the intent.
Yes, definitely, definitely. No, I absolutely get it. It just I have some I've come to a different city, so that was the thing. I have 15-20 minutes, so is that fine? I can I'll be there for that, and then after I need to
Sure.
leave for that. I'm so sorry, Pankaj.
No problem. No problem. It's okay. So, Lovely, where are you from the content standpoint?
uh,
Have you done the syllabus sessions, the revision boot camp, where you are? Have you given your exam last time, or you are
no,
about?
this is my first attempt for SBL, and right now I have started, so like I have completed watching all the sections lectures, as well as the how to solve SBL examination part, it contains some sort 3 videos, and now I have already started the question bank, watching and solving the question bank, like practice revision kit, to be specific.
Fair enough. And any specific area, Lovely, in you guys, or you're struggling with, or you need a
Yes,
help,
yes, yes.
you know,
So just hold for a second. I'm just I have noted two, three doubts.
your voice is really slow, Lovely.
My apologies. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, better now.
Yes, I have 2, 3 doubts. Just I have written it. I'm just searching for it. Just
Fair
give me
enough.
a second, please.
Fair enough. And Garima, what about you? Where are you, and how has been the days? How has been the preparation?
Yeah.
I near about 30 sections of syllabus area, and this is my first attempt. I am going for SBR also, so it is little difficult for me to concentrate on both the subjects right now.
So going for SBL, SBL, SBR both?
Yes, sir.
That's too much to chew, especially, if you're giving it at the same time.
Yes, sir. So I
And
want to know
how much you have done SBL? You've done these sessions by now.
3 sessions I have not done yet.
So, okay, 3 sessions are left, but else than that, all the sessions are done, and then comes the revision boot camp.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I get that.
Yes, sir.
And how about SBR? Have you completed the entire content?
Classes are going on right now. So 80%, I would say I have completed.
And you're on leave, Garima, or you're working?
I'm leave right now.
You're leave, right? Okay. No, that's helpful. If you are at home, then that will be helpful. At least you
Yes.
can devote 100% of your time.
Yes, sir, but classes are going on. So there, 8 hours I'm on classes.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yes. So, sir, in SBL, do we have tests?
Yes, we do have mock test coming our way, and I was about to inform you. I thought I'll share it with you towards the end. But we do have mock exam coming up next week. We would be circulating that and would be requesting all of you to please attempt it under the time conditions, and of course share it with me so that I can come back to you with the feedback that you need in terms of areas of improvement that you may have.
Sir, please, sorry.
Go ahead, Garima. You were saying something.
Hello.
Garima? I think, Garima, you're on mute if you're talking. Can I request all of you to please switch on your cameras, please? At least that will give me some sense as to where you are, and are you talking, not talking? Is this a technical problem? Can you guys please switch on your cameras, please? You were saying oh, Garima, I think there is some connection problem there. She logged off. So, Loveleen, you were saying something.
Yes. So I have 2, 3 questions. So if you can please help me in addressing the same.
Go ahead.
So so the thing is, as I mentioned, so I have started solving the revision kit for now. So the thing is, what I have, it's just the starting, I haven't completed it, just I have solved 2, 3 questions of each section, you can say about. So what I have found is, irrespective of answer, irrespective of any question, suppose if I say, if there comes a question, right, and there in SBL it is, there are various model. if I can say some Mendelos or BCG, just for an example. So there is, if there is one question and there are certain models, so is it like irrespective of any model, we can apply that in that answer and frame the answer, or like is it to be that has to be very much specific? So like what I'm not able to suppose, if one answer I can answer in 2 or 3 ways, like in 2 models, or like you can say in different another way. So is it necessary to be on right do that specific write that answer in a specific model, or you can choose any model and write your answer?
So, Lovely, not that you can choose any model. That model has to be relevant in the context of the question being asked. Let me
Yes, of course.
let me let me give you an example to it. And good that you have asked it, because this is one of the problem that that the students have faced in the last attempt. The last attempt that just happened. And there is an examiner report that has come up which specifically mentioned that the rote learning was very much seen in the exam, and because of which students have not scored well. So that was certainly there. So we will I will come on to that examiner report in a while. But what I'm trying to say over here is that there is always a right model for a requirement of the question that you would have already covered in the syllabus area content. Just to give you an example, if the examiner asks you to assess the environment of an organization, or assess the overall existence of an organization from the external environment standpoint, now that there is a pestle that is to be applied over there.
Pestle, yeah.
You have to see the political environment, social environment, economical environment, and so on and so forth. You know that, right? Now, on the other hand, you can also answer this question without using the pestle model in a very generic way, because you may not use any model, but you can answer that, and of course give the context, give the color of the environment at large without even using the pestle framework. You can do that. But you won't be applying BCG model into this, because that would not hold true, right? Because that's not relevant. That's not acceptable over there. So my answer would be that model application is important in terms of applying the right model. But you writing the model as a model, saying that, this is what the pestle says, is not important. You only have to say that, assessing the environment of XYZ organization essentially warrants various parameters which the organization is exposed to. To eliminate some, we have political framework, social framework, economical framework, technological framework, and so on and so forth. So you are effectively using the pestle model without calling that to be a model that is being termed as pestle. You're only using the content of that model without even really referring to that model per se, which should be the intent. But the application of the right model is any which way is important. You cannot use any other model into the assessment of an external environment. And I'm sure you would have seen it by now, and if not, if you have not done the revision bootcamp, you would get to see there that we have really called out what is to be used where. So, for example, if you have to use 4 to 5 forces, where one should be using 4 to 5 forces. If you have to use like ends of matrix, where one should be using. And we have explained this, we have discussed this with the help of various examples too. So to cut the long story short, what I'm trying to say over here is that application of the right model is going to be important. You may not refer that to be a model. You just use the content and start writing in your own words. That's absolutely fine. But that model would give you a framework in terms of what you should be referring and mentioning over there in the answer.
Okay.
Does that help, Lovely?
Yes, of course it does. No, actually, I was I was reading the practice kit answer. So there was there are student tips or something heading. So there was this at some question there was written, there was a note like student can use either this model or this model. We will be giving you marks anyway. There was substitutely you can use it any model depending you use that framework in a right approach.
See, I can I can only I can only tell you one thing, and you must have heard this thing when in my lectures also, that for the strategic business leader exam, what I generally call out is that what you should be referring is the past exam questions rather than the exam kit. I always feel that the past exam questions are the most relevant one from the examination standpoint, rather than you really scanning through the exam kit and read out what the examiner has given in those past examination answers, rather than, honestly getting into any exam kit and unnecessarily getting confused. What we have given you as a content is absolutely needed, and there is nothing more required over and above that. Anything and over, and everything that you need to do is that content. If you want to do anything more, just do some more past exam questions, and that is gonna be it, Lovely.
Okay, okay.
Please do not, for strategic business leader exam, please do not refer the exam kit. My personal opinion is that it is not helpful. It unnecessarily creates confusions, because exam questions are very different in comparison to
That is
what you
of
would see
course
in
in all the
what you would see in
ACCA,
the
it
exam.
comes out of out of something different comes out. Like questions like kit and exam are totally different thing. I absolutely agree. The past examination question are quite helpful always. Just I was
And many of them have already been done in the revision boot camp, so you can have a look on that.
okay.
And we would be doing some of them as your mock exams also. We would be using some of them for the discussion purpose also. So don't really go into exam kit and start doing that. That's not going to be helpful.
Okay, thank God you told me at this moment only, because I have just started, So yeah, I will definitely take this into consideration, and I will also, look after the past exam questions. Also, my second question is, so like, how do what would be a good strategy to frame and link the answer, because there is so much to read, and there are so many things going on in the background, like in the question, like there are so many exhibits with respective scenarios, and like how do you like do that, linking all of those into an answer? Like it is what I feel is really tricky thing. It is not that like it everything is ignored, but there are some things which are missed or something like that. So how do rightfully frame a good answer, and which is linked to your question, referring to everything?
So Lovely, while you have not, gone through the revision boot camp and are still in the process of going through that, there are some specific sessions being given to you in the revision boot camp that will talk on your reading skills, your writing skills. And when we are practicing questions, we have ensured that those reading skills and writing skills are being duly taken care while writing the answers for those questions in the revision boot camp. Now, to give you the context, you would always have a question in the exam which would have various exhibits, and questions requirements that you have would either be touching upon one exhibit or multiple exhibits depending upon the requirement of the question is. So the way, and you would see, while I'm talking right now, you would see that in revision bootcamp, we have practiced that in various questions. The way we do is that while reading the question, we start highlighting to which exhibit is relates to which requirement. There can be one-to-one correlation. There can be multiple to one correlation. It can happen. So we try linking that there and then, and you would see that when I've done the past exam questions in the revision bootcamp, we have ensured that we will be doing this in reading. While reading itself the question, we would be pointing out all of these details into the exhibits, and of course linking the exhibit to the requirements and requirement to the exhibits, and so on and so forth. That's an art. That's not something that would come like in a day's time. You have to practice few questions yourself in terms of building this as a skill. But all I'm trying to say is that this has already been given to you in your revision bootcamp and already there with you in terms of the context. Have a look on that, and I'm sure that would give you a better understanding in terms of how one should be really reading the question, really reading the exhibit. And while reading the exhibit, can I just go back and circle out the exact requirement of the question, and of course say that this exhibit relates to this requirement, and so on and so forth. And there would be some requirements in the exam that would be touching upon the multiple exhibits. So you would see that, but how to really circle that down and then how to really start writing of it, there are some specific sessions in the revision bootcamp wherein we have discussed that. Do refer that, and I'm sure when the next week we will catch up, you would certainly have a different understanding of this topic per se.
Yeah, of course. Like I'll definitely look into it because, like the time is the real constraint working and, completing all the lectures. And so, yeah, I'm still in the process. So it will definitely gets better with time. But I must say, Pankaj, like it was really, very much a learning, and you have taught in a wonderful way. Like you have make it to the easiest way to, learn around. So it doesn't, if you like just see the material, you recall your examples, specifically with your examples, they are absolutely genius. Like you get it simply and that actually works.
Thank you, Lovely. Thanks for the feedback. Really helps. Appreciate that. Paras is saying that he has an issue. So Paras, why don't you unmute yourself and discuss that issue?
Okay. Thank you, Pankaj.
Thank you, Lovely. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Paras this side.
Hi, Paras. Go ahead.
Sir, actually, this is my second attempt for SBL. I appeared in March and I managed to score only 47. And I do believe that the main reason behind that was that I was lacking somewhere in professional skills big time. Apart from that, sometime during that attempt in March, I believe that my practice was not that good that it could have been. Plus, I somewhere lack in identifying the issue on which the question is based.
Okay.
Yeah. So apart from practice, what should be my strategy? Currently, I am preparing for SBR as well as and SBL. SBR whole syllabus is done. I am currently going through RBC revision bootcamp portion, question marathon to be very precise, and a practice kit of the BPP has been done approximately 30 to 40%.
No. Don't mix SBR and SBL. Let's keep SBR, separate for now.
Okay.
From the SBL standpoint, Paras, have you done the revision bootcamp?
Sir, I have started it but not completed it yet. I'm doing it.
So you started it. You have started the revision bootcamp. When you appeared last time for the SBL exam, did you completed the entire revision bootcamp?
No, sir. At that time, I did not. I don't know whether I should say this, but I took classes from some other tutor.
Okay, no problem. No, I don't want you to name anybody over here.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So what I'm trying to say, Paras, is that you have scored 47 in the SBL exam, and I can tell you 47 is a very decent score. That effectively tells me that you know the content. Okay. You know the overall content of the syllabus areas. That's surely there. Yes, now, sir. What is lacking, by those 3 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks, what is lacking over here is, one, the art of attempting the exam, because SBL is a different exam. It's not a traditional exam wherein you get a question and you know the answer, you know what to apply, you write it and you move on. No, it's a very different exam because you have to get into the shoes of a situation. Okay. The guy in a situation, what is being thrown at you, and think what he should be doing in that kind of a scenario, considering all the syllabus areas in your mind. Okay. That's how one should be proceeding on into this exam, which effectively at times warrants a different level of understanding and a different level of writing, because you have to read the question in a way that you can really complement the exhibits to the requirements, and which requirement is touching which exhibit, and then you are able to answer that there and then. Yes. Which effectively is built up on 2 important aspects. One, you knowing the model. Yes, 2, you applying the model. Application of the model is going to be the key. Doing the rote learning or rote writing in the exam doesn't really help, and that's what the various examiner reports really also calls out. Okay. Now, what is important on your part? I understood that there are 3 problems that you think that you're facing. Number 1, you're struggling with the professional skills. Yes, sir. Number 2, you said that you are somewhat not confident in terms of what the requirement of the question is, as to what do you really need to write for that requirement. That's what I understood, Paras. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir, you're right.
Third piece is that you're not able to correlate the exhibit to which requirement and requirement to which exhibit, and somewhat getting lost in terms of getting confused in between all of the exhibits and not writing the examiner or giving the examiner exactly what he needs. Is that what the issue is, Paras?
Yes, sir, I would like to correct the third observation yours. I somewhere feel disconnected with the model. I couldn't identify the models which were applicable to that situation somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paras, let me just take a step back. Have you taken the FinTram SBL sessions now for SBL?
Sir, actually, no, I haven't taken only RBC, Revision Bootcamp.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So, so my point was, and I'm not trying to say that you should have gone through the content, but the thing is, when we do the sessions in the strategic business leader exam, we try to highlight that this model is to be used where and how. So, for example, if let's say it is an external environment, you would be using the pistol. If it would be a new geography, you would be using a Porter 5 force.
Yes.
If it is X, you'll be using Y, and so on and so forth. So, first is that you really need to have a complete hang of it. And for that, you have to go through the sessions, because that is being discussed on, each and every syllabus area content. So you have to go through that. So, you have to decide in terms of, how you really want to cover up, but we have covered that in depth in our sessions any which ways. Now, coming on to Revision Bootcamp, what Revision Bootcamp really offers you is, of course, the reading skills, the writing skills, the professional skills, and hence the application of all of these skills, when you are reading the question, when you're writing the questions, and of course, when you're giving back the examiner what exactly he needs, including the formats in the exam.
Yes.
So Paras, I don't know, you really did not quoted the format, but format is again something that many of the folks really struggle with.
Yes,
in the SBL exam. So I don't know if that was your struggle area, but if that was, then you need to correct on your format also, and you have to work through that in terms of how can you really come over that. And for that also, Revision Bootcamp is very helpful. Just go through that content, and I'm sure that would be very, very helpful. Coming on to your initial two issues, which is like correlating the requirement to the question and question to the requirement, and of course to the exhibits, and of course the professional skills, that is very well covered in the Revision Bootcamp.
Okay.
Have you completed the Revision Bootcamp for Strategic Business Leader?
No, sir, I have just started it, and I have done only 5 to 10 sessions, the introductory part.
So go ahead and do that and start seeing the questions wherein we are practicing and implementing that knowledge onto those answers. We will be catching up again next week, Paras.
Okay, sir.
We will be discussing on this again next week. Go through the sessions till next week and come back to me next week that how are you feeling and now where is the struggle, so that I can really circle that down as to where that is.
Right, sir. Right.
Because as of now, I don't really know, because you have not seen the sessions. Just see the sessions, see me applying those things onto the content, onto the questions, and then we can again circle back as to now where the struggle is, now where the gap is.
Sure, sir. Definitely, I'll do that.
Very important. Do not really miss on that. And Paras, not trying to just push onto the syllabus area sessions, but I can tell you, seeing the syllabus area sessions of Strategic Business Leader exam can really create a very different pedigree for yourself. So if you can, and if you have time, do go and check out on the Strategic Business Leader sessions. That would give you a very different level of understanding.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
All right. Anything else, Paras, that you have?
No, sir. This is it.
All right. All right, guys, thank you very much. I do want one important piece to be discussed today, and this is primarily to really circle off, I would say, the feedback that I have heard from various students who gave the exam and were not able to clear. There was something that was very common in them. And I really, tried collating those feedbacks, collating those experiences, and of course, bringing on to the table as to what is working well for the, for the folks at large and what is not working. So what I really want to do over here is I really want to, bring some slides onto yourself. That is nothing but the recent examiner report that has come up. So I really want to bring that over here to just share with you that, what is the examiner saying on to the recent exam. This is the March-June 2022 exam. And I really want to call out over here as to what examiner has been saying for the things that you really need to improve on. Now, this is not something that we have not discussed. We have discussed this in the revision sessions, and of course, we have discussed that, at various forums. But I really want to highlight this again and again onto yourself, just to make sure that you're not missing on the pointers which many of the students are really struggling with. So if you are really aware that, this is what examiner is really highlighting, that things are not working well in the exam and students are really struggling with, and you would ensure that you do not do the mistake, I'm sure examiner would treat you differently and of course mark you differently. And that's why I really want to highlight the recent examiner report, highlighting the areas and the content, what is relevant for you. Coming on to the background of the question, the question that really came up in the March and June 2022 exam, was of Yexmarine Co., which was a yacht manufacturing company, and the candidate role, the role that you had over there was being a member of a team of consultant, which is assisting the board and the chief executive in various tasks. So we'll get on to in terms of what was the struggle over there. Now, what was given to the question? There was an overview of, of course, the Yexmarine Co., the Yexmarine and its competitor. There was an article onto that wherein there was a comparison that was happening with its two principal competitors. There was strategic committee proposal over there, and a letter to you, the consultant, from the chief executive, detailing the proposal to create detailing his proposal to create the strategy committee. So we'll talk on that in terms of where the candidates were really struggling with. But what I was trying to do over here is to tell you which all exhibits were there in this question. The Yexmarine Co., yacht owner, manufacturing company. You had exhibit 1 that was of a competitor analysis. Then you had a strategic committee proposal. Then you had the employee satisfaction survey results that was being given to you, and human resource director was talking to you in terms of the findings that he or she faced in the employee satisfaction survey. Then there was an overview of investment that was happening. Of course, proposal was given to you for the product development in terms of thinking to that, should you be going for that or not? And then we have the risk assessment and the mitigation proposal being given to you in terms of what is happening on that side of the table, and you have to think about the risk and mitigating activities. And the last but not the least was the marketing service offer. So there was a service summary of a proposal that was being given to you from the Sea Yacht company, again a marketing agency offering the marketing services to Yexmarine, and of course you have to really assess them in terms of what that proposal is, and then of course suggest the examiner what exactly you should be doing in that kind of a scenario. Is that clear? Yes, sir. All right. Now, when you have been, or you were given this, what was relevant over there was that you would see in this question that in one question, the strategic business leader guy is supposed to answer various aspects. He would answer on the strategy, he would answer on the competition, he would answer on the employee survey, he would answer on the investment of the projects, he would answer on the risk and the mitigation activities, and then he would also assess various proposals that may come his way, and of course give the understanding over the same. That is the beauty of the strategic business leader exam, and that's what you should not be forgetting, that this is something that you would really need to do over there. All right, now coming on to what I really wanted to share with you. Just give me a sec. I wanted to share the overall analysis of this exam. The overall analysis of this exam was that many of the folks have not done the past exam questions. So if you really circle back and I'll share some the slides of what I'm discussing right now in the attachment in the video on the YouTube. Also you can download that as an attachment, you can see that. But what was given over here was that the overall analysis of the examiner really says that candidates did not do the overall question. they have not practiced the past exam questions and the specific mock exams. Their CV functionalities, understanding about them was lacking, and somewhere they were not able to analyze the exhibits in totality. That's what the overall analysis of the examiner report really says. Again, this has been taken up in a summarized format from the latest examiner report. You can just go and check out that. Now, candidates who failed, and this is something I really want to talk on, and this is not somewhat very different from what I've seen from the past examiner reports also, because even past examiner reports also shows the same areas, same concerns, what has been thrown out in this examiner report, that many of the candidates who failed, they were not able to make the relevant points. They lack in the analysis skills, various professional skills. They did not answer the exact requirement of the question. They suffered loss on account of being unprofessional in the exam, not commercially sound in the exam. Somewhat their understanding about being getting onto the shoes of that particular company in terms of what would happen in that kind of environment was missing. There was lack of commercial acumen over there, and I don't know why examiner keeps saying this, and why students are not improving on this, but there was a poor technical knowledge. And this is again to circle back the points that we discussed with various students today, that you really have to have the complete hang onto the models in the strategic business leader exam. We have covered these models at length in our sessions. Do not miss out on that. And of course, last but not the least was candidates who failed. They really wasted time making the irrelevant points in the strategic business leader exam. That's not helpful. You should not be making any irrelevant points. What is important is that you should be able to answer exactly what he needs in the way that he needs. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now, there was some specific, comment that came up in this exam, and I really want to, share that with you. That there was a comment that the examiner really made in this exam, which says that it was particularly disappointing to see the candidates not reading the task requirements carefully enough, that it resulted in that they did not answer exactly what was needed. Now, this is something, and I'm sure, for all the FinTrammers, they would know, they would see that we have highlighted this nth number of times, that you really have to give a stress on exactly what is the requirement of the question and answer it absolutely in the same way. You cannot go haywire. Is that clear? Yes, sir. All right. Now, coming on to the professional skill issues, he did mention some of the professional skill issues. And Paras, to your point, professional skills are very important, and anything that you do not do in that regard certainly costs you the marks, and of course would not help you clear the exam. So you should certainly be avoiding this. Professional skill issues primarily were that there were overlong paragraphs that were being written rather than giving the multiple pointers. Not paying attention to the format required, a big issue. You really have to know the formats of this exam. Do not really miss on that. And not considering who was receiving the document produced. So for example, if there is a letter to be addressed to the employees, how would you write that vis-a-vis a letter that would be addressed to a CEO? Your letter content, your letter start, your letter end would be different, right? So if you're not understanding who the document is made for, as in who is the recipient of the document, you would certainly struggle, because he would kill you on the professional skill marks. The poor tone in the comments was made, you cannot be derogatory or unprofessional in anything that you would write, irrespective of the fact that the person who is given in that situation is not doing the right thing. Even if he's not doing the right thing, you being the consultant, you being the employee, you being the head of the function, you should not use, any poor tone or language. You always have to ensure that your professionalism is of a prime importance. Then last but not the least was the failure to demonstrate the commercial acumen. So you really have to see that what you are really proposing out in the exam or in any situation is commercially viable and practically possible. Do not really miss on that. But these were like professional skill issues that really come our way from this examiner report, because examiner specifically highlighted on that. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Now, some of the suggestions that I have, my friend, I really wanted to end this on the note. And again, this is not something new that I'm talking, and I'm sure all the FinTrammers would certainly know that. what is important over here is that first, that you should read the requirement of the question very, very smartly. You should certainly not miss on that. And to all the folks who have not been able to clear the exam this time, this would be one of the reasons, my friend. You should not forget to read the question properly. You have to understand all of the aspects of the task requirements. You have to structure logically, and to your point, Lovely, structuring the answer is the real important thing, and that really warrants you to understand which requirement relates to which exhibit and which exhibit relates to which requirement. Are there a single requirement or a single exhibit to a requirement, or there are multiple exhibits that relates to one requirement? You really have to ensure that you understand that, and once you'll understand that, you will write it accordingly. Do not really miss on that. You have to balance the depth, my friend. You don't have to like any number of times the same thing again and again. Not important pointers should be written last. Important pointers should be written first. Some basic things should not miss on that. You have to practice, my friends, by questions by your own hand. Examiner keeps saying that like a broken record, that you really need to know how the CB really works. You have to do some mock exams, because mock exams will give you a perspective that, this is something that you should be doing, and there's something you should be improving on. And last but not the least was the formats and the professional skills, my friend. You really have to work hard on the formats of the exam and professional skills of the exam, so that you're not missing on what the examiner really wants in this. What is really important, my friend, is that you're not missing on these important pointers. I would keep saying that again and again, like broken record. Important is that you're not missing on these pointers to ensure that you're really capturing the end-to-end content of the exam. This is not a tough exam, my friend, but this is a different exam. And since this is a different exam, you have to know the art of writing it, and you can do well once you can master that with your practice. There is a mock exam coming your way, my friend, next week, which I would expect all of you to give. And of course, send that to me, and we will be checking that and providing you our comments on that in terms of what you should be doing differently. Do not miss on the mock exam. This is something which is very important and can really create wonder for you. Do not miss on that. Is that clear? Yes, sir. So that's what I wanted to cover. Paras, I think I saw that there is one question that is coming from your side. I'm happy to take that. And Vajiha, I'll come on to you in a while. So Paras, you had something before I move on to Vajiha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have one more question to ask. Actually, when I appeared for the March exam, the first exam that I took was cancelled because of some technical glitch midway, halfway into the exam. And the second time I was given the question paper was different question. Obviously, it will be different question, but I think that I need to review the answers, match the answers that I have given to the answers suggested by the examiner. But I'm not able to find that question anywhere on the ACCA website. Can you please help me? How can
they take time, Paras. They would not give you the latest attempt answer in 3 months of time. They take time. You would get that answer in 3 months of time from now.
No, sir. I gave it in March only.
No, I'm saying they do not publish that.
Okay, the second one is not published.
They do not publish all of the question papers. Okay. They only publish what they think is right in the market. Okay. You would not find they publishing each and every attempt.
Okay. And sir, one more thing. Is mock test applicable for RBC students as well?
You have to talk to FinTram for that, my friend.
Sure, sir.
I can only tell you mock exam is coming up. Who is getting that or not, they would decide on it.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks.
So Vajiha, how is your prep going, my friend? Anything that I can help you out with? Anything, any area that you're struggling with?
Hi. So basically, this is going to be my third attempt this December. Unfortunately, even in the first 2 times, I thought maybe I can do it without practicing too much. It's mainly the theory wise, because I'm full-time mom as well and working at the same time. So it's hard for me to balance. So there's 2 slacks on my way where I didn't practice much. So the first attempt, got 39. Second attempt, rather than going up the hill, I went down the hill and got 32%. So now I know my weakness is not doing the mock exam under mock conditions, under time conditions. So that's my main thing. Also, when it came to the exam, so I have recently asked for the feedbacks. This time in the September take, the question was based on the housing market.
Yes.
I thought I did well, practice wise as well, answering. But when they gave me the feedbacks, what I thought maybe I did pass, I failed on those questions. So my thing is not understanding the question and not answering what they are asking me. So maybe I feel like what I have done is talked around the area rather than talking about it, and how to. So my struggle I'm having is how to understand the question onto the point. So rather than me writing 10 points, which is in general, I'd rather write 5 points, which are on point and still secure. So it's
I
in
understand.
general.
No, I can understand that. And Vajia, glad that you're sharing that. I can tell you many times we are not open to accepting our mistakes. So, and that is again a mistake. I'm glad that you're sharing that and want to improve on that. All I would say, Vajiha, is when have you taken the FinTram sessions? Can you tell me that?
So it's just so I watched your video recently. I've purchased Fast Track. So I will be on your mock exam soon. They said there will be 2 mock exams with you.
Yes.
I also have content from BPP. So right now what I'm juggling about is I still have content from BPP and LSBF as well, but I have put that on the side and just focusing on your one only.
So let me give you a very I don't know if that really eases off your burden. No offense to any of the content providers or any of the learners, learning teams or learning partners. But for SBL, my humble suggestion, Vajiha, would be that do not refer anything but the content that FinTram is providing. We have really done a lot in terms of what you should be referring and what is relevant for the exam. Just refer that. I'm sure that would certainly give you a very strong pedigree in the exam. All that you need to ensure is that you have gone through the sessions and you have done the revision bootcamp at least 2 times. Please note, revision bootcamp has to be done at least 2 times. And then you have to practice questions by your own hand, Vajiha. At least there are 3 questions in the revision bootcamp. You have to practice those last 3 questions by your own hand, which is like the past exam questions. And then you have to appear for the mock that I'll be providing you. I will be giving you the feedback for that. And I'm sure God is there to help you after that.
That's fine. So with the revision bootcamp you mentioned, I know there's video recorded lectures. And there's also questions as well in the end, and there's some mock exams. So is that what you're referring to?
Yes. So there is a video question marathon after the sessions. So if you have bought the Fast Track, I think Fast Track has 13 sessions, if I'm not wrong. It has 13 sessions. And then after that, you have the how to excel in SBL sessions. And after that, you have the video question marathon that takes on the concept questions, the comprehensive questions, the exam standard, and the past exam questions.
Okay.
So I'm referring to that.
Yeah. So my aim by this weekend is to finish all those lecture videos. And then that means it will give me around 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks for practice only.
Yeah. And you should be doing questions by your own hand, Vajiha, for sure, in the CB environment.
Yeah. And also, the last question I have is, if I have any other questions, which I do, for example, can I still send them on your email and you can just review?
Yes, you can send that to me. You can WhatsApp me. We'll be more than happy to help you out.
Okay, perfect. I think that's all for now from my side.
No problem. But if there is anything that really comes your way into your mind, feel free to jump it out. We really want you to clear, because my coffee is certainly I'm looking out for.
Oh yeah, I've watched your videos on your coffee. And a thank you message.
Thank you. So anybody else has anything before we really wrap up, guys? Vaji, anything more that you have before I really wrap up?
No. I will be sending you over the next week is some of the questions which I know, even by looking at the answer, I can't. Maybe my points are different. So for you to review and then give me feedbacks on how to even improve on my. So make sure I answer the question rightly rather than talking about it.
I would only say that, while you're doing that, you should do the questions from the past exams rather than the exam kit. Exam kit questions are at times, especially from the solutioning standpoint, they are confusing. So they unnecessarily create confusions. So when you're doing the questions and sending it to anyone for review, do the past exam questions, because solution that is being provided by ACCA is as per the guidelines that they have provided, and that's what we are following in anything and everything that we're doing. So rather than exam kit, follow the past exam questions, and I'm sure you would have an understanding what you really need.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right, guys, I think we are just bang on time. Anybody who is there on YouTube who would want me to answer anything, I'm more than happy to take on. Connor, anything that you have, I can see your name. Anything that you want me to really answer it, I'm more than happy before I really wrap up. All right, I think Connor is not online. So guys, thank you very much for your time. I think this was what I really wanted to cover. All of these sessions are really important, and I'll be coming again next week discussing some other topic that you should be thinking and of course working out, and we'll be more than happy to. I could see Connor writing something. Should strategic business leader be taken after or before other strategic professional option exam? There is no right or wrong thing to be, there is no right or wrong thing to take it first or after. Connor, it's absolutely dependent on you. You can take it before, you can take it after. It is absolutely fine. But all I can tell you is that many of the folks, they take strategic business leader and strategic business reporting together. That's not the right option. If you're thinking about strategic business leader, then you should think about APM, because many of the areas and the content in both the exams are the same. If you're thinking about strategic business reporting, think AAA with it, because again, the content is very much the same. But see, from the sequencing standpoint, I don't think that it really makes any difference. If you're taking strategic business leader to start with, take the next exam to be APM, and then the SBR, and then the AAA. That's what the sequence I feel is right, and that's what you should be doing. But there is nothing before or after. You can go either ways. Does that help, Connor? Connor, does that help, buddy, before I really wrap up? All right. Thank you very much, Connor. Very helpful. All right, guys, that's what I really wanted to cover today in terms of the content that I really wanted to cover. There is a lot that is coming your way in the coming week also. Do not miss on that. And of course, for not missing on that, do subscribe to our channel, FinTram Global. And I'm sure you would get all of these videos at the click of the button, because you will be informed in the first manner. All right. Now, before we really wrap up, what is important is that even if after the session, if there is any doubt that really comes your way in any of the questions or the, in any of the syllabus area or any of the questions that you really want to take on, you can certainly reach out to us and we'll be happy to talk on. You can comment over here all of those questions in the comment box. I'll be answering that myself. Athira says, when we'll be having the mock test? Next week, Athira. Next week you would have a mock test and we will take it on from there. All right, guys, thank you very much for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you next time in the next week. Till then, this is Pankaj Dhingra signing off.